Hello there, you're watching on television. This is State of Business. I am Pamutha Katugampala. Our top stories. President justifies controversial tax policy. Fitch forecasts mixed impact on rated Lankan corporates. And now let's have a detailed look at today's stories. Amidst growing criticism, President Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday justified a hike in both corporate and personal income tax. The President maintains that this is for the greater good of the country and is critical to garner much needed financial support from the international community.
මම කියන්න කැමති මේකේ පසුබිම. ඒ පසුබිම අනුව අපිට මේ වදු ක්‍රමය නැත්තම් විශේෂයෙන්ම අපිට ඕන ඉලක්කේ නොලැබෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපි නියම කරගත් ඉලක්කේ 20යි 26 වෙනකොට 14.5ක් 15ක දලදේශීය නිෂ්පාදනයේ ආදායම් ලබා ගන්න එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපි ඒ අනුව ඒකෙන් ඉවත් වුණොත් IMF ආධාර අපිට ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. IMF සහතිකය ලැබෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ලෝක බැංකුව ආසියානු සංවර්ධන වැනි ඒ ජාත්‍යන්තර ආයතනවලත් ඒ වගේම මේකේ සහයෝගය දෙන රටවල් වලත් ඒ ආධාර අපිට නොලැබෙනවා. දැන් ලැබුණේ ආධාර අපි ලබා ගන්නට තියෙනවා. මේ ලබාගෙන ඊළඟට අපි ගිහින් ණය ප්‍රතිව්‍යුහගත කිරීමට යන්න තියෙන්නේ. මේක අමාරු කාලයක්. ඒකයි මම එදා කිව්වේ මේ වැඩ කටයුතු බාරගත්තාම ගිය මාසෙත් කිව්වේ මීට වඩා අමාරු කාලයක් අපිට එන්න තියෙනවා. කවුරුවත් මේක කැමැත්තෙන් කරන්නේ නැහැ. අකමැත්තෙන් හරි අපිට සමහර තීරණ ගන්න තිබෙනවා. ඒත් ඒ තීරණ දිහත් විටින් විට අපි යලිත් සලකලා බලනවා. ඉතින් මේ පසුබිමේදී මට උවමනා විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ රටට ණය ප්‍රතිව්‍යුහගත කිරීමේ වැඩසටහන සාර්ථක කළා. විශේෂයෙන්ම අපිට මහා කන්නේ හොඳ අස්වැන්නක් ලැබුණාම ඒකෙන් ආර්ථික වාසියක් අරගෙන ඉදිරියට යන්න. එතකොට අපිට තියෙන බර ඒ වගේම අඩු වෙනවා. අනික් අතට අපේ විදේශ විනිමය සංචතිය ඒ වගේම වැඩි කරන්නත් මම මීට ඉස්සෙල්ලා කතා කරලා තිබෙනවා. මම හිතන්නේ මේ පියවර කීපයෙන් අපිට ඉදිරියට යන්න පුළුවන්.
Rated Sri Lankan corporates in consumer goods retail, power generation and home building will be among the most affected. This is expected if the economic crisis deepens or is sustained for a prolonged period, says Fitch Ratings. Significant cost inflation affecting demand and profitability, import restrictions disrupting operations, and high interest rates are key risks faced by domestic corporates in the next 12 to 18 months. Based on Fitch's base case forecast assumptions, they project that most other corporates will be able to weather the current economic downturn. This is supported by their presence in defensive industries, weakened competition, strong balance sheets and adequate liquidity. Most rated corporates posted strong revenue growth and expanding margins in their June 2022 quarterly results. This was due to inflation-led price hikes and sale of low-cost inventory purchased prior to the sharp devaluation in the local currency in March 2022. However, the cost of new inventory has risen sharply since then, while high inflation and falling affordability will make it challenging to raise selling prices further. There is also a significant increase in operations costs, which will be reflected more acutely in the next few quarters and it is likely to pressure cash flow. Fitch estimates around 50% of their rated issuers would see rating pressure if economic conditions worsen in the next 12 to 18 months. Continue to heightened unfavorable business conditions could lead to a rapid deterioration in some companies' liquidity positions. Fitch maintains that leverage and interest coverage could weaken beyond their negative rating sensitivities. Now, the Board of Investment, as the catalyst and facilitator of investment promotion, is delighted to announce the launch of the Investor Facilitation Centre. It is a dedicated space allocated on the 27th floor at the West Tower of the World Trade Center to provide an efficient and seamless service to investors. The centre streamlines the investment approval process and strengthens interagency coordination. One of the major impediments identified in attracting and retaining FDI is the unnecessary delays in granting approval and transaction costs to investors. Generally, investors seeking to establish operations in Sri Lanka have to obtain approvals from numerous line agencies. The time taken to grant such approvals depends on the process and procedures followed by each line agency. It has also been identified that poor intra-agency coordination has resulted in an inefficient investment approval process with undue delays. The IFC is deemed to address unnecessary delays faced by investors and sustain their confidence. Its structure consists of 4 units: the Information Desk, Application Submission Desk, Interagency Coordinating Committee, and Operational Units. The IFC is a part of the digitization process of the POI, where all information and potential investors will be digitally stored in the Management Information System. The IFC has also been merged with the newly established Partnership Finder database system so that investors can find new equity and technology partners for their business.
Now, the objective of the establishment of IFC is to fast-track the approvals. Now I can say my staff had done, this has come from the BOI staff itself. I'm a little bit even embarrassed to mention this, but I'm telling the real truth. I want the media to know the real truth. We are not here to hide anything. Normally, any present foreign investor seeking an approval of a project, it has to go through a minimum of 20 approvals from numerous agencies. So that's where I see the bottleneck. Because then it takes about 170 days to get their approvals. It's almost 6 months. So that's the reason that we are going to have this investment facilitation center to expedite the things.
See you soon with more stories after this short commercial break. Welcome back. You're watching State of Business. Now, from January to August 2022, exports to Germany from Sri Lanka increased 20.6% to 680 million euros. While in the first 8 months of the year, German imports to Sri Lanka stood at 149.85 million euros, a drop of 16.1% when compared to the same period last year. This fall in German imports was largely due to imports restrictions imposed by the Sri Lankan government. This was disclosed at the 8th edition of the Top German Brands in Sri Lanka event organized by the delegation German Industry and Commerce in Sri Lanka, also known as AHK Sri Lanka. The event was held recently at Hilton Colombo with the support of the German Colombo. The ambassador of the Federal Republic of Germany to Sri Lanka and Maldives, Holger Suber, said that Germany is the 4th largest export destination for Sri Lankan exports. Chief Delegate of the AHK Sri Lanka, Maria Antonia von Schoenberg, mentioned that in order to realize the objective to expedite and streamline the regulatory framework, improve German FDI to Sri Lanka and increase the ease of doing business in Sri Lanka, the delegation met with local industry stakeholders. The chief delegate added that momentum building for change is building in some structural aspects and that they will keep pushing for a more favourable environment for businesses in Sri Lanka. To encourage cooperation, network and exchange among world market leaders and industry peers from Germany and Sri Lanka, the Top German Brands in Sri Lanka 2022 event showcased the presence of over 260 German brands. This was a show of long-standing economic relations between the two countries. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society launched Sri Lanka's first ever medical supply to donation matching platform yesterday, called the Elixir Platform. The initiative is a volunteer-run public-private partnership under the aegis of the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society. The platform allows hospitals and treatment centres from across Sri Lanka to register requirements for life-saving medicines and medical supplies, which are in short supply due to the economic and foreign exchange crisis. Elixir also provides a single streamlined interface for donors who would like to support Sri Lanka at this time. Elixir, as a unified and seamless platform for all requirements and donations, allows for efficient use of funds and time, while also reducing the total turnaround time for assistance and increasing transparency. Additionally, a large number of institutions registering their requirements allows the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society and its network of global volunteers to consider bulk orders for the best possible prices. The platform was designed and is operated by the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society together with its volunteers and professionals and in partnership with the Sri Lanka Medical Supplies Division of the Ministry of Health. The Elixir platform is a collaborative undertaking to help Sri Lanka overcome the shortage of life-saving medicines due to the present economic crisis.
The main goal of the Elixir platform is to get the most urgent needs from the Ministry of Health on a frequent basis, publish it on the website, so that donors from across the world can look at the most urgent needs and pledge donations. They can pledge money, they can pledge medicine. That medicine is then given over to the ministry, the MSD, who will then distribute it to hospitals. And the Red Cross Society has a very pivotal role in providing transparency to all parties involved in this process. The main goal of the Elixir platform is transparency. There are many donors around the world who have expressed a lot of interest to help Sri Lanka in this time of need. And the one request they all have is please provide transparency, and we hope that the Elixir platform will address that need. The current donors on the screen have very kindly donated multiple aid packages, which Sherazad will demonstrate, various kinds of medicines, and suppliers have come forward to offer medicines at cost or even at a lower price for the duration of the crisis, so that the donors' money can go a long way.
Now, Dr. Ramesh Pathirana, Minister of Plantation and Industries, recently joined an observation tour of Paranthan chemical factory premises in Kilinochchi district of the Northern Province. This government chemical factory started in 1954, produced liquid chlorine, hydrochloric acid, zinc chloride and ferric chloride using salt as the main raw material. Due to the war, production was halted in 1985. Currently, the company is importing and distributing chlorine, caustic soda and hydrochloric acid required for local industries. Apart from that, Paranthan Chemical Company manufactures bleaching liquid and caustic liquid through a value addition process. The minister stated that the feasibility study, planning, business development and procurement work to restart the Paranthan chemical plant will be expedited to reap economic benefits. At present, the Paranthan chemical factory is in the process of starting the production of caustic soda, chlorine and the production of hydrochloric acid and polyaluminium chloride. Feasibility studies related to the production of household chemicals are being carried out and the procurement process will start soon. The chemical plant premises is 102 acres in addition to the 25 acres used for the factory premises. The remaining space will be set up as a separate industrial park for chemical factories. Within the chemical industrial park, there will be an opportunity to remove and reinstall the factories that have environmental and social problems in other parts of the country and to start new factories. Stay tuned for stock updates.
IWS Aviation.
Welcome back, you're watching State of Business and now stock updates. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today. The all-share price index dropped 150.99 points to close at 8,737.38 and the S&P 20 dropped 64.31 points to close at 2,613.06. The turnover was 1.4 billion rupees and over 57 million shares were traded. Coming up next are Forex rates. Well, that's a wrap from today's edition of State of Business. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
State of Business was sponsored by
IUS